everybody? Happy Friday and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your fanatic and host, George Bueller. And of course, with me, as always, my little Ebert right here, Seth Manhammer. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I am doing fantastic this Friday evening. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Had a nice day at the shop there. Clobbering Comics is celebrating Spider-Man's birthday today, 1962. Oh, did you just freeze up on me? So we were celebrating Spider-Man's birthday and having a little bit of a sale and all that kind of good stuff. So, yeah. But what happened to Seth? There he is.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. My connection is all of a sudden deciding to be like, hey, you're live now. Let's drop every 2 seconds.
It was like you were about to say something when I mentioned Spider-Man's birthday, and then all of a sudden, like, you went away.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I guess we've had great internet connections for the past few shows, so it's like it's time for my connection to be like, oh, gotta do something.
Yeah, it was time for me, so I was like, yeah, there you
go. Fair.
Fair enough. So we were celebrating Spidey's birthday, having a little bit of a sale, and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, it was good times. Let's see here.
I gotta say, probably one of my favorite runs in comics was that earlier Spider-Man run, like the Stan Lee, like Ditko and Romita Jr. Those two, like the first 150 issues or so, like when it was all good melodrama and everything too, and it was.
I know. Yeah, again, I've said it all. Before, with a lot of my people on the stream, so it's like, like that early '60s Marvel stuff, especially like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Avengers. That's the building blocks of the Marvel universe right there. Because every issue, you had somebody new being debuted, or a new alien race, or something important happened. So that's why all those early '60s Marvel stuff are expensive, because there's so many introductions. So
right. Well, and then too at the time, like it was really, pretty innovative, to have like an interconnected universe month to month, like, in print form. Like, I mean, DC wasn't doing that. DC was all basically a lot of little independent stuff, and they kind of jumped on the bandwagon later. But, that was part of the fun of Marvel, was like, you'd be reading the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man would be going by, like that kind of shit.
Or people were friends with each other, or they had different rivalries, or anything along those lines. It's like Spider-Man and Johnny Storm are friends, but they're also kind of frenemies at the same time too. They like picking on each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, the two younger superheroes, Johnny being like the hot-headed jock kind of deal, and Peter still kind of being the science nerd, but like they're both superheroes. Yeah, I do love their dynamic together. It's great.
Yeah. So you got all kinds of stuff like that. But at the same time, you've got DC had their stuff too. I mean, like the classic rivalry that always comes to mind between heroes is Hawkman and Green Arrow. Those dudes, like they work together, they kind of get along, but also at the same time they hate each other.
They do.
Because Hawkman thinks Green Arrow's just a damn liberal. Oh man! See, I love this. We are way off track.
We haven't even touched the topic of the show yet. We're still in the intro.
Yes, we are. But the actual topic of the show tonight is we're talking about obscure movies. Seth and I are basically trying to pull the most obscure stuff that we've seen that we're pretty sure y'all haven't seen. And I picked a couple of good ones and a train wreck. So I don't know, what you've got in store for us. But I'm curious to see what we've got, or even if the audience can even stump us with like, oh, you guys seen this movie? Have you seen this movie?
Yeah. So I tried to even stay in movies that you might have even heard of. Like there's a chance that you could have stumbled on them, but I doubt it. Or that's I know one of them is pretty fucking out there, but yeah, one of mine. Yeah.
Mr. Steve in the hizzy there. Hello.
What up, Steve? Hello, lady.
No, see, I think he wants to say it like Val Venus. Hello, ladies.
Oh yeah, with the voice like he's gargled gravel for 3 weeks before the match started. Yeah.
Let's see. Before we get into new comics and such, I did go see, or Michelle actually went and saw a new movie this last Sunday. We went out and saw Backrooms.
Okay, okay. And what did you think of that? Because it looked interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's a very kind of like undertoned, creepy kind of movie. You still really, by the end of the movie, you still don't entirely know what's going on, but you're very intrigued and compelled by it. But there's not a lot of
Okay.
jump scare. There's not a lot of jump scare stuff. But even though there is something when they kind of start delving a little deeper into these, these extra rooms, these extra hallways, all that kind of stuff like that. There is something that they find is stalking them, but it's not your traditional scary kind of thing. It's a very, honestly, if you've ever watched the Severance TV show on Apple Plus, it would be a great companion series to it because while that is more of a thriller, this is something a little different. It's just it's creepy, kind of very clean horror. There's not a lot of gore. There's not a lot of it's yeah. So I
It relies more on atmosphere kind of
very
deal.
much realize
Like,
atmosphere. Yeah.
yeah. It definitely, like, the trailer itself was giving me House of Leaves
Yeah.
vibes. Like with some of the stuff going on in there. Like if you're familiar with that book at
Mm-hmm.
all. And so I was very curious.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, Backrooms. The writer and director. Initially, this was like creepypasta stories that developed into YouTube videos, that developed into video games. You've probably seen like a lot of clips online, like people like literally going through like empty rooms. There's weird, random shit, and all of a sudden it's like scary monsters. So it's like kind of almost like PC jump scare games, kind of like that. So this definitely feels a lot like those, like the games. But it's got a little bit more story to it as well. So there's some people who want to basically kind of use this as a comparison to kind of give a little more credibility to Skinkamarink, and maybe people enjoy that more now they like Backrooms, and I kind of call bullshit on that because Skinkamarink is the movie equivalent of this should have been an email. It should not. I like the approach. I like what they did with it. There's no way it should have been a feature film. That should have been 30 minutes. Okay. 30 minutes the max. Backrooms has a similar feel to it, but it is compelling and it has a story. So there you go.
Okay. I'm down to actually see that. Real quick, you were talking about the video games that's kind of based off of. I tried to play one of those one time and just absolutely fucking hated it. Phantasmagoria or
Phantasmagoria.
Yeah, it's this game where it's like you're like you go into like places and you ghost hunt, right? Like with the EMF meters and like you have like like crosses or holy water to repel the ghosts and shit. But like my video game like murder hobo ass, like this does not compute, right? So like my friends and I were playing this game and they're all like, "Oh, we got something over here." Then I'm like, "I want to punch it. What's the punch button?" And they're like, "Seth, there's no punch button." It's like, it's like, "Well, how do I fight the ghost?" It's like you don't fight the ghost. Like you just you do all these. Well, this game's fucking stupid.
I know. Yeah. I was arguing with somebody over the Alien Isolation games. Like I really liked it. I think they're very true to the series, but it's true to the first movie, not the second movie. So it's not balls to the wall. Let's go take out these things with a plasma rifle.
Right.
Like you don't have weapons. You hide and run in this game. So yeah. Oh, we got some comments here. Miss KB here, Mrs. Fanatic herself. She says Backrooms is amazing. And her comment says, it's like being let loose in an MC Escher painting. I would agree with that.
Okay. That is cool. That definitely. Has Michelle read House of Leaves?
Michelle, have you read House of Leaves?
I haven't started it yet.
She has it, but she hasn't started it yet.
Okay, because tell her she's got to read it now so that it's like I want to see if I'm right with how the movie looks and like giving you vibes of that or giving me.
Okay, so Seth says now you have to read it because now that you've seen Backrooms, he says that having read House of Leaves, it gives him vibes like how Backrooms he thinks it might be. So he wants you to read it to compare. She has accepted the assignment.
Okay.
And Steve says that sounds fun. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's. I mean, like when they start like walking in these rooms, like the architecture in the room doesn't make sense. So that's kind of a cool thing about it too. So yeah, Backroom's definitely worth checking out. But there is a ton of stuff out there. I mean, I still haven't got around to seeing Mandalorian Grogu yet. I haven't seen Obsession.
That is fantastic. I've seen that.
I know you guys are talking about that. Sounds good. I haven't seen Obsession yet, so that's a priority this weekend. Master of the Universe drops this weekend. Definitely seeing that shit.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to wait till next weekend to see that. But yeah, Steve, yeah, we got to go next weekend to see Masters of the Universe, buddy.
Yeah, it's a priority for Michelle, so she's like, yeah, we're gonna go see that this weekend too. Yeah. So basically, we're doing 2 movies this weekend, so I'm down for that. So yeah,
fair.
All right, unless you've got anything to bring up, I've got some new comics to talk about here.
No, let's talk comics.
All right. Well, I got a couple indies from last week, and then I've got 4 from this week to talk about. Definitely got to talk about this one. I'm not sure if you got around to reading this one yet, but Conan the Barbarian issue 31 from the Titan.
I have not gotten to that one yet. I have been I was finishing up Dark Ages Spawn and what the Rocketeer series. Okay. I was getting into that pretty hard. Yeah.
Dude. So this is the ending of the Son of the Tooth storyline, where basically this large gentleman here who's atop Conan and fighting him. Yeah, this guy has basically been essentially born and bred essentially to hunt Conan, and he's good. This is the ending, the conclusion of that storyline. The fight in this is one of the most knockdown, drag out fights I've ever seen in my 30 plus years, 40 plus years of reading comic books. I almost thought Conan may not make it out of this issue. Like you almost buy that.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's so good. So the 3-issue arc of basically 29, 30, and 31 of the Son of the Tooth storyline is fantastic Conan stuff. Go to your local comic shop and pick those books up.
Well, that may be jumping up to my reading pile tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. It's like it's so cinematic and visceral, and like I said, there's moments where you're like, shit, Conan gonna lose this? What is it? It's like, what the hell, man? What's going on? But yeah, all right. Next up, basically, this is from the Ghost Machine imprint from Image here, Hyde Street issue 12. I have loved this series from the beginning. It's like if you took like an old like Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, and instead of focusing on like the host, guiding you to the story, and then you basically watch the victim unfold their story, and then something bad happens to them. This basically follows the host itself. Like Hyde Street is kind of that place that people that have what's coming to them find themselves on, and then it's which one of the different players here gets a hold of them. So if you got this giant Frankenstein dude, you got the Mr. X-Ray wearing the old X-ray glasses, you got the kid that looks like a little Cub Scout, except he's a little shit. Then you got the doctor who loves cutting on people. And then you got, I can't what her name is, like Miss Goodbody. And she's basically kind of like, we're all the people who want to be super skinny and will do anything to do that. And she gives them the cure-all that will make them skinny forever. But it's basically a parasite. So, it's kind of stuff like that. So, but there's been kind of an evolving storyline going on where the hosts all kind of figure out that if they want to get off Hyde Street, they want to go back to their normal lives, they have to bring in so many souls to basically, fulfill their quota, right? And there was one particular entity on Hyde Street that was apparently so bad they had to lock him up. This is about that person, the butcher of Hyde Street, getting out. And dude, this guy is fucking awesome.
Okay,
looks like he jumped out like the Gangs of New York kind of movie. Kind of like a old school Jake Lockley Moon Knight. Kind of like a bust you up kind of dude. But like Jack the Ripper kind of knife skills. One person on this cover doesn't make it out of this book alive. We lose a major cast member.
Okay.
Folks. So yeah, good shit, really good shit. So that's of course a continuing series there. But yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. Also from last week here, so sad to see this book end, but the finale for Exquisite Corpses, and lately there's been a lot of miniseries that have come out that have started off really, really hot, and the ending was not this one. This was an awesome series from beginning to end. The storyline of this one, to recap, basically there are 12 families, 13 families based on the original 13 colonies that control all the power in America. They are the true power behind the throne, not the president, not the government. It's all these rich families.
Yeah.
Every 5 years, the family's kind of like one family will take over, and then every 5 years they play a little game where they pick a town, they cut it off from everything, and they drop in their own personal serial killer to take out all the other killers. So it's a tournament of killers, basically. And if some townspeople happen to be involved in your murder, well, that's just extra points, But you don't have to worry about the cops. You don't have to worry about the internet or the media or anything like that. Like, no one's getting out of this thing alive if they were not supposed to. So yeah. So basically, you got these families, like rich people that are watching this in a nice lounge via satellite, sipping champagne while folks are getting murdered in this small town. And then, of course, you got this our protagonist who's an EMT, and she was warned by her uncle, who's one of the local cops, to basically get out of town, but he couldn't say why. And she's like, I got to do my job. And what are you talking about? And so she basically gets heavily involved in things, maybe even a little too involved, perhaps. Okay. But yeah, so obviously with the success of the book itself, this has been optioned for a movie. So yeah, expect that to come. But yeah, it is so good, very cinematic. Some comedy in it as well, but there's a lot of murder and mayhem. And of course, all the different killers have different personas and different kind of gimmicks to them. There's one guy that's the lone gunman. He's basically kind of like the Punisher, but wears a gold mask. There's a dude called the Congregation who's kind of like Victor Zsasz in Batman, where every time he commits a murder, he likes to carve himself and make a kind of like notch. But in this case, he carves off a body part on one of his victims and sews it to himself. So he's got like eyes and ears and mouths and stuff like that all over his body for the people he's killed. And he basically, why he calls himself the Congregation is basically he thinks he draws power from them. So yeah, obviously he's mad as an owl, but yeah,
right.
But yeah, there you go. Oh. MKB says, everyone tell George to take me to see Obsession and He-Man. And Steve I
appreciate that Michelle keeps calling it He-Man too, because it's like I'm just like, yeah, Masters of the Universe, but it's like we're gonna go see He-Man.
We're gonna see He-Man. We're see He-Man. But yeah, and Steve's okay. Don't worry, we're going.
You got to take her, George. You got to take her. Yeah.
I've only got one show in the morning tomorrow, and then I've got Sunday and Monday off, and she ain't doing shit either. So we're good. With the movies will be seen.
Okay.
Yes, without a doubt. All right, a couple more indies. These are new one from this week here. Okay. Another Ghost Machine title this is my favorite imprint. It's, of course, an independent of all the kind of the shared universe stuff, but this is Rook Exodus, issue 10, and an outstanding sci-fi action series where you've got basically a planet called Exodus that humans inhabit, terraform, make it nice for people to live on. 5 years later, it's war-torn and on the verge of destruction because we fracked it. We basically reaped it of every resource we possibly could. And so it's falling apart and everybody's leaving, except for the Wardens. The Wardens, basically, like this gentleman here in the stag helmet, are essentially kind of warriors and protectors of the animal life on Exodus, and the helmets themselves grant them the ability to communicate. Kind of more of like, not necessarily like they can actually talk, but it's kind of more like, an understanding of what my intentions are and what you need to do, and then what you guys are feeling, or if you're concerned about something or whatever else. It's kind of that sort of like empathic sort of communication. Yeah, sort of thing like that. So, but yeah, awesome series. Of course, Jeff Johns writes this one. Jason Fabok and Brad Anderson's art is just, just good stuff there. Yeah, so highly recommend that one there. Hey, Chris Frank's in here. What? one of my whatnot customers. Good to see you, brother.
Nice.
Yeah, hey, we bust each other's chops a lot with wrestling bullshit. So yeah, I'll get randomly whatted from time to time. So there you go.
As one should.
As one should. Next up, issue 7 of the Twilight Zone here. Now, of course, again, another series I've loved from the beginning. It is the only thing this book is missing is the theme song playing when you open it. They don't have the likeness from Rod Serling's, but there's always like an image or somewhat a faceless image of him that welcomes you as traditionally and opens the story for you. Everything's in black and white, and then each issue is independent of each other. You got a different creative team, a different story each issue. So just like the Twilight Zone itself, no episode was the same.
Right.
Book. So this is about a man who is a lonely taxidermist. He's very skilled at what he does, but he's lonely, and maybe it would be nice if he actually got out of the shop every once in a while and found a nice lady to settle down with. Of course, that's what his mother's always telling him, right? And then one day, the right woman walks in the shop. And it's got a kind of a tragic, very typical Twilight Zone-ish ending, but this is a very nice romantic kind of like it's one of those tragic romantic kind of Twilight Zone episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I don't want to give away too much in this one here, but yeah, it basically a tragic romantic kind of the same way like the Burgess Meredith All the Time in the World kind of sort of thing like that, or the one where like the hillbilly and his dog are walking out hunting, and they basically, essentially like, they're trying to get, someone tries to lure them to go to this one town that basically is hell, and then they make the right choice and they end up walking to heaven because, well, they died when they were hunting, So,
right. Yeah.
But just kind of those nice, kind of just romantic, just lovely episodes of Twilight Zone. This is one of those. So,
okay.
Yeah, I highly recommend that one. Of course, the creative team on this one, Tony Fleeks and Andy Price. I'm not sure where I know Andy from, but Tony Fleeks, of course, we know from Stray Dogs, currently on Feral. So yeah, Tony's pretty well known there. Brandon Fox, good to see you again, sir. Yeah, we need a sound chip issue of the Twilight Zone.
Like those greeting cards that you can open and they say shit, or like the ones you get from Spencer's where they fart or something.
Oh, well, there's comics like that, because when they did the first volume of the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, they had special covers where you open up the Godzilla cover, and it went roar like Godzilla does, and then there was another one where you open up and it's King Kong grunting and chest pounding and that kind of shit. There are Transformers covers for the current Energon universe stuff they did for like the 10th printing anniversary or something like that, and yeah, they make the Transformer sound. So
that is great.
Yes, so they have sound chip comics. Yeah,
nice. Yep. Speaking of, I did hear Mask already sold out a week before it hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sold out at the sugar level. So basically, if you pre-ordered it or in your shop's getting it, then yes, it'll be in there. But yeah, if you didn't pre-order it from your local comic shop and they didn't get it, you may be shit out of luck on that one. But
waiting for a reprint.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, Image is very good when it comes to their second printings, the third printings, the fourth printings. I mean, Transformers #1, I think, is up to 14 or 15 printings now. So
no shit.
Yeah, and G.I. Joe #1 is up to 7 or 8, I think.
Damn. Well, I still got my exclusive variant first print, Baron Zartan cover, I should say.
That's Baroness. It's pronounced Baroness.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Disguise. Yeah, Zartan in disguise. No, but one comic that I did need to remind you, or that I do need to tell you that I want while I'm thinking of it, Hammer Fist. That Rick that cover looked awesome. Yeah.
Yes. So, I pre-ordered one for myself. So yeah. Okay. I'll see if I can get a second one for you. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how one how heavily Tommy ordered that one, but that's
It comes out in August though, so it's like
yeah. But the premise on that one is cool. That Panosian cover is badass. I know what you're talking about. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
And, and if anybody's know, just imagine what the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the words Hammer Fist, and it's like probably invoking what was on this cover. Just a dude with a big fucking metal thing on his arm.
Well, it's kind of like part metal or part like Hellboy's a Hand of Doom sort of thing like that. It kind of reminds me of that.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up real quick just to show everybody because this thing looks cool as shit.
And Brandon says, Hammer Fist looks good too. So, but Chris asked the question that we didn't get around. Do you remember where they got the sound for the Godzilla roar? I've known this information before, but I don't currently remember it. So you'll have to tell me, Chris.
I do not.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's basically good old fashioned sound engineering,
right?
But I can't remember what the origin of it was.
Yeah, I got the cover loaded up there for yeah. How badass does that look? Like that's just like that you just like you see this as a movie poster. I want to see this movie.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah. Hammer Fist coming soon to a comic shop near you.
Oh yeah. That's badass.
Yeah.
And then Brandon says that Dork is on its 5th print. Yeah, Dork is such a great book.
Oh yeah, that's I've been hearing about like that thing going crazy on like the secondary market.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh, Chris, the Godzilla roar moving an old rusty iron gate. Yep.
Wow.
Thank you.
I think that is
thank you for the artists, man.
Dude, that's the kind of stuff I love. Just taking like old weird noises and like blending them or slowing them down or doing something to them to make them like Sometimes it could it's just straight up like whatever noise it is, and you're just hearing it amplified through a movie speaker. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Foley artists, wherever you are out there, because man, it's just the special effects people, especially the old school practical stuff, man. Oh, dude. Yeah, that's the good stuff there. So, and Steve says Hammer Fist would be a great name for a power metal band. Yes, it would.
Yeah.
They could open for Man of War.
There might even be a band called Hammer Fist. I'm not sure. Probably on Bandcamp, I'm sure, because there's always some kind of like metal band, like some garage metal band that's thrown up there. Yeah. I love that shit.
Dan High in the house. What's up, Dan? Said, yes, he's glad he pre-ordered his 2 mask covers for his boys at Clobberin. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
There you go.
So that's gonna be a hot book. And I think it's this coming week, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, from what I was reading.
This is a big week too. This coming week, so there's a lot of shit. So, but I'm pretty sure Mask is one of those. And I know like Absolute Catwoman's another one coming out. It's a big one. A couple other things like Avengers Armageddon, beginning of the big Marvel. The big Marvel event until we get to Queen in Black, which is the second big Marvel event going on. So you got dual ones. Oh, Steve says Hammerfall's a band.
Yeah. I know Hammerfall. They're one of my love to hate bands because it's like they've got like a couple of songs that I think are okay, and then my Google Music always like, hey, you like Hammerfall? Here's every fucking everything else they ever recorded that you're not down with.
Oh, love it. 2 more books to talk about before we get to our topic du jour here. And of course, you couldn't have some comics reviews without having at least one Batman.
Oh, damn it. We didn't play how many Batmans this week. Shit.
Well, the answer is 1. This is issue 10 of the current Matt Fraction run of Batman, which I've really been enjoying. So the Bat family has basically a plan to essentially finally take down Vandal Savage, who has been running. Basically, the bad guys are running Gotham because Vandal Savage is the commissioner of police, and Poison Ivy, yes, Miss Pamela Isley, is currently mayor of Gotham City.
Okay.
Yeah, so the bad guys are in charge. Well, anyway, so Bruce and fam have got this plan installed. Basically, they're trying to take out Vandal from the inside out. They sacrifice Barbara Gordon essentially to get locked up in prison, but there's a plan for her in there already. And of course, there's an offshoot comic called Barbara Gordon Breakout, where she's in prison kicking ass and trying to get the hell out and exposing some certain things out there. A lot of stuff happens.
When did she start walking again?
Oh, several years ago. She got there was some kind of spinal implant that I think Mr. Terrific made that basically, made it surgically implanted in her, and so now she can walk again. So she basically two times, when she feels like getting out of the field, she's Batgirl, or when she feels like being the man in the truck, then she's Oracle. So but she's been out of the chair for over a decade. So
oh shit, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since she's been out of the chair. But basically, Mr. Terrific created a spinal implant that can make her walk.
Okay.
But there was a storyline. I can't remember if it was Joker War or one of the I think during the Tom King run of Batman, there was a storyline where like somebody used an EMP on her, and so it killed that device. So like she was kind of freaking out for a little bit because she lost the ability to walk until they could make a new one, and there you go. And now she's back again. But so there was an interesting period of time where she had been walking and back to normal, and then she couldn't for a brief period, and that kind of messed with her for a bit. So but damn it, but excellent issue here. I like the plan they've got in place. There's a couple of big oh shit moments in here, but really, really cool stuff there. Really, really good issue. Like I said, very much enjoyed Fraction's run on Batman. And then last but not least, the selection from Marvel here, issue 5 of Mark Spector, Moon Knight. This is an awesome, lots of action, lots of revelations. So that this current Jed MacKay run here started off with a organization that Moon Knight's been kind of battling with that basically kidnapped him and then drugged him and kind of tried to put this programming into him, very much kind of like, playing with his reality. Was he crazy? Was he Moon Knight? Yada, yada, that sort of thing like that. He was able to overcome it, get out, and then now finds out that his team essentially has all been captured by... Well, here's the explanation. So in the Moon Knight universe, there is this thing called the Midnight Mission, which is a building that Moon Knight and all of his friends live in. The building is alive. It's a haunted building. It's alive. It's an entity itself. And so it can change itself from the inside out. It can defend itself. It can kill people if need to, all that sort of thing like that. So Midnight Mission's part of the gang and whatever else. But apparently that entity is a juvenile in comparison to the thing that has Team Moon Knight. And so Mark goes in there to try to rescue them, and shit goes pear-shaped real quick. So really interesting. Like I say, if you haven't started checking out Jed MacKay's run on Moon Knight, he's basically on his third run now, because he started with just the Moon Knight series, then there was Vengeance of the Moon Knight, and then now we're on there was Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu, so this is fourth run, my bad. And then now we're on Mark Spector Moon Knight. But really, really good shit. Really, really good shit.
Yeah, for some reason, Moon Knight was just one of those characters that I've tried to get into, and he just bores the shit out of me. I don't I don't know what doesn't click with me for Moon Knight, but I've tried to jump on a couple of times, but it's like if Moon Knight is mentioned to me, it's like, and Moon Knight's going to be in this crossover. I'm like, oh, great. Like in the 90s when Spider-Man and Moon Knight are going to team up. I'm glad I spent $1.25 on this issue.
I'd say what, so yeah, I can see that, especially in the early days of Moon Knight, they're still trying to figure him out. The Chuck Dixon, David Finch run of Moon Knight that was in the early 2000s is really good. That kind of plays on the classic stuff, but then starts leaning more into the fact that this guy's insane. Like, he has multiple personas, and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's like he's got split personality, but he's a superhero. Yeah, no. This guy's insane. And he just happens to be a superhero. But he's not like a good guy, So, yeah, they play more into that. The Jeff Lemire run is outstanding because that's basically where they really play with the Egyptian themology throughout the reality versus delusion sort of thing like that with him. So, yeah. So there's some really good runs of Moon Knight later on in his continuity. They're worth checking out.
Okay.
So I can, if you want to give them a second try, I can point you in the right direction. But yeah, your early stuff, I can totally see that. Yeah, a cool design, but not a great character.
Yeah. I ain't saying no, but it's like there's a bunch of other stuff I'm gonna read and check out first before I go back to Dragon Ball.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, whenever you want to get back into it. Brandon says he voted for Mayor Isley. She's getting it done. And it says the New 52 runs when she started walking. So there you go.
Oh, okay. No wonder I kind of viscerally hated the idea. It came from the New 52.
Yep, there you go.
that was the great betrayal for DC for me.
You were the one of the most sore people over that whole New 52 run that I mean, there was a lot. I talked to a lot of people in the comic shops, about that when it was happening and after. But yeah, I mean, that was a stab in the heart for you, and I can see that.
That fucked me up for DC Comics to this day, right? Mm-hmm. Because it was like, I mean, that was my growing up, like the DC continuity of all that shit, of the post-crisis stuff, and seeing what happens, like, Wally West running around trying to like not be in Barry's shadow, Barry being dead, like, fucking Hal going nuts and becoming Parallax, and then Kyle having to take over and shit.
Yep.
And then you had the whole the Infinite Crisis, Final, like all that shit was so good, and then they fucking ruined all of it.
Now, the whole Jeff Johns run of Green Lantern, Jeff Lemire's run on Green Arrow. Well, that was actually, hey, take it back. Jeff Lemire, that was New 52 stuff. That was the second half, though. Anyway, Jeff Johns, but going back to Jeff Johns, though, Blackest Night, Brightest Day.
His run on the Flash was fucking phenomenal. Teen Titans, that Teen Titans book that he wrote was incredible. And that's not even to talk about stuff like Identity Crisis that really like nailed shit. And it's like Absolute might kind of bring me back in. I still haven't read that Green Arrow issue yet, but it's like I might restart with the Absolute thing. But I mean, this is like when that long-term girlfriend comes back and starts sniffing at you, and she's like, "I've changed, I really have." And I'm like, "I don't know, baby, you hurt me once real bad." And it was it fucked me up. I went so hard into indie comics after that,
I think if you decide you ever want to try to start checking out some modern day DC stuff, start with the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths event. Start there, and that basically from there kind of kicks off the current kind of all in thing that's going on right now, because basically you got Dark Crisis, and then some shit happens, and that leads into the Absolute Power event. And then basically after Absolute Power, we get that all-in special, and then that basically is the birth of the Absolute Universe, and then kind of what's currently going on with all the dark side shit in the current DC.
Right. Okay.
There you go. Chris says that Moon Knight is Egyptian. Oh, hang on. Come on, get up there. There it goes. Egyptian Deadpool. Well, see, Deadpool is funny crazy. Moon Knight ain't funny. But so where Deadpool is yay crazy, Moon Knight is crazy. So and then Brandon says Superman New 52 is some of the worst stuff he's ever read. I agree.
Yeah. Sorry, Grant. You just didn't have it on that one.
Yeah, and then Jeff Johns' Aquaman New 52 run is some of the best Aquaman runs, though. I would agree with that as well.
Now there's. I heard the same thing, and everybody was like, Peter David writing Aquaman is awesome, and then I read it, and I'm like, it's still fucking Aquaman. Like, Andromeda was about the only Aquaman story that I really enjoyed.
That was really cool. Yeah. That was the Black Label series, where basically kind of like it's like a horror Aquaman story with Christian Ward doing the art, so it's nice and trippy. So
But I will admit though that I am not an aquatic adventurer kind of person, so like it doesn't really do a whole lot for it. Like I can understand like a lot of people enjoy like the whole Aquaman and an underwater sword and sorcery vibe. Mm-hmm. For some reason, that's where it breaks my brain, right? Like I don't know why, but that part breaks. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, enough comic talk here. Now it's time for our topic du jour here. The most obscure movies that we've ever seen that we're pretty sure you guys have never seen out there. And of course, we definitely invite you guys to attempt to stump us with like, oh, hey, have you seen this movie? Have you seen this movie? Because, The answer is yes.
I mean, between the two of us, there's a really good chance that we probably
and more than likely one or both of us own the movie. So there you go.
Right.
Chris says Aquaman's a dolphin diddler. Yes. Well, I mean, it's like, I mean, he does, you know, he is married to Mira, and Mira is pure Atlantean. So yeah, he's blinking a fish lady.
I mean, let's all be real. It's like, you know, we all had the Little Mermaid VHS growing up, and it's like we all wondered, you know, it's like when she turned into a real woman, and it's like, you know, we wouldn't even mind it if the seashells popped off. Like, yeah, but or was that just me?
Speaking of Little Mermaid, do you remember the original movie poster with all the golden penises?
Oh yeah, yeah, the VHS clamshell that people were going nuts about.
Oh, it wasn't the clamshell. That was a theatrical poster.
Well, I know the clamshell had them too. I didn't know that the poster had them.
Basically, that was the theatrical poster that was initially used, and then basically once people kind of caught on the gimmick, because like late 80s and 90s Disney stuff, apparently all the animators wanted to throw in all the sick, horny jokes they possibly could. So all those rumors like, oh, the word sex you could see, you know, in the clouds in Aladdin. Yeah, that's there. You know, or, you know, basically the, you know, the Atlantean, the royal city there is littered with golden dicks.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the Harlan Ellison story where he only worked at Disney for a day?
No.
Yeah, so like it was in the 60s, but it was like it goes along with this whole vibe of like the animators just basically being dirty old men, right? So like he's in the commissary at Disney Studios, right? Because it's like doing like working on whatever. Because I mean, this is Harlan Ellison. He's like one of the top speculative fiction writers in the world right now, and like, you know, or at the world at the time. And like they're, you know, he's a big fucking get, right? Like, you know, it's like Star Trek super hot and shit. So he's having lunch with a bunch of his buddies in the Disney commissary. You know, and these are people that he's known like outside of Disney for years. So he knows what they are. So he's just thinking that it's like this kind of deal where, you know, they're all just like, you know, like buddies, just bullshit and everything. Harlan Ellison starts to do this graphic impersonation of Donald and Minnie Mouse having sex. Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse, and then like getting into it with other like Disney characters, and it turns into this big like Magic Kingdom orgy, and it's just in the middle of the fucking commissary with everybody else going off. Yeah, he didn't finish the day, and that's a very famous book. Yeah, it's a very famous story you can find in one of his books, but it's been corroborated several times. Harlan Ellison, world-class curmudgeon, general shithead, but brilliant fucking writer. And even if you fucking hate him, he is a amazing listen to hear speak. R.I.P. Harlan Ellison.
Oh, good shit. Yeah, and Chris said the artist basically did porno art. Yeah, there you
go. Pretty much.
And Brandon says, to be fair, Superman was getting on with a mermaid at one point. Yes, old Lori Lamaris.
Yeah.
But also, Superman is alien. So
Shipwreck from G.I. Joe fucked a mermaid too.
You're right. Sure did.
Mira. Sure. Yeah,
Mira. Super 7's making an action figure of her too, by the way.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, they're really getting in the weeds on this one here, but they're making a Mira figure for Super 7. So
I hate those Super 7 figures. I do. Ugh.
Oh, I haven't seen. I didn't care for the ones, you know, that were the old style, you know, like the 3 3/4 that had no articulation. But now they're starting to do them with articulation and the O-rings and stuff like that, and them just like the old ones. Like, oh, now they're actually like GI Joes. So
that would explain why Hasbro stopped doing that shit. Like after because they were making their own 3 3/4, but. Yep. Okay,
there you go.
Yeah, because I was never into the whole like 5 POA the
reaction ones.
The reaction ones. They were, I mean, I liked the idea that like they were getting all these licenses and you get like weird figures that you wouldn't get before, but
they look cheap.
They looked cheap, and it's like Super 7 figures are ass. I've only ever had the TMNT ones, but they sucked so bad. See, man, that's the thing. Like I have heard that the Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 line looks great, but I will not buy them. Number one, because they're $60 fucking a pop, and number two, because and it's like, I mean, there's 4 turtles. I can't justify fucking like almost 200 some odd dollars for 4 fucking turtles. But especially when I can get like the Mirage set, like, you know, for so much less than that, you know, if I really want it. I've got a great set of turtles already, but Yeah.
You got a great
but
set of turtles.
Oh, God damn. You and Eric, man. Like, I'm talking about my Jim Lawson turtles.
I know you are.
The NECA set, yeah.
All right. Now get on to our topic du jour then. So, do you want to start off, or you want me to start off?
I will start off. I got my first one right here on disc, and I know you've seen this one, but I don't think anybody else has. And this was a me scrolling on Netflix, and I saw the promo image, which is the very similar to the DVD cover here. But the primary star was what hooked me into it, and the description got me too. But He Never Died, starring Henry Rollins, where he is an immortal cannibal who you find out has a very interesting history. But yeah, he's a dude that, like, he has been alive since the beginning of time. And he's been there, done that with just about fucking everything. And it's like it's one of the most interestingly deadpan comedies, but also fascinating dramas that I've ever seen.
And I like the mythology they do for it too.
The mythology is wonderful. And fuck it, if Henry Rollins was born to act in a fucking movie, this was the movie. This was written for him. It fits him. It's like, if you are any interest in Henry Rollins at all, check this movie out.
Yeah, it's very punk rock, very down and dirty, stripped down kind of movie. Yeah. Yes, yeah,
but still very, very good and kind of down to earth. Great. Now, also too, one thing to note: Henry Rollins knows that he is not a filmmaker, so he just acts in this. He did not write or direct it. Unlike contemporary Glenn Danzig, who for some reason thinks that he can make movies and makes weird shit like that weird vampire western that Devon Sawa makes fun of at conventions that he starred in, or that movie where he managed to make erotica boring. And
I mean, Glenn Danzig's movies make Rob Zombie's shit look like art. Just complete, just like this.
Rob Zombie is 1,000 times more talented filmmaker than Danzig ever was. Now, musicianship, I will say, like, we can have an argument to me about Rob Zombie versus Glenn Danzig as far as musicianship is concerned.
That's not gonna be much of an argument because I'm gonna side with Glenn Danzig.
Fair. Okay. Yeah.
Basically, the only not even a Rob Zombie. I love Thunder Kiss 1969, but yeah, that's a White Zombie song, and so that was the old band. So I like old White Zombie shit, but I never, when Rob went solo and kind of basically was like dance goth rock, and I'm like, didn't know.
Fair, yeah.
Not my thing.
That is funny though. No, it's like, I mean, Danzig's a prick, but he's a hell of a songwriter. I got to give that to him.
I mean, fucking his Misfits and his solo shit. Yeah, it's no comparison. Yeah.
But back to the flick at hand before we get too far into the fucking weeds. Yeah. This movie is it's an obscure one. They made a sequel to it called She Never Died. Don't fucking watch it. Yeah. There was talk that this was going to be a TV show at one point, and Rollins was going to star in it, but like it never got picked up, and so they made the sequel instead. But it's a lady, and nothing against her. It's just it's not as good of a movie. Like this movie only works because Henry Rollins is starring in it, right? If this is anybody else, like, this movie crashes and burns.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. But yeah. But that is my first pick for a horribly obscure movie. What year did this fucking come out? 2015.
Yeah, see, it's not that old. So you have less than 10 years.
11 years old, yeah.
11 years old, whatever, math. All right. My pick here, I've got two kind of older ones and then one that's a little more recent here. But from 1998, we've discussed this one numerous times here. Six String Samurai.
Yep. And now I have never seen this one, but I have heard about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Fucking love this movie. So this is basically Shaw Brothers meets Rockabilly meets Mad Max.
Okay.
But came out in 1998, directed by Lance Mungia. Very DIY, low budget sort of thing like that. Almost kind of like maybe a few dollars more than a student film kind of thing like that. But it just it took off because it was so fun. It was so original. The lead character here, actor Jeffrey Falcon, who plays the character Buddy, And basically is an outstanding action star who should have been. He did some other movies after this, but he should have taken off bigger because like his persona, his move, basically doing kung fu and the sword fighting. Yeah, he's a badass in this movie. The plot is in the 1950s. We dropped the bomb. And so most of the world, or most of the country, gets wiped out in nuclear fallout, all that kind of shit like that. But Vegas stands tall. Elvis is literally made the king. And so Elvis runs the world as it is, but it basically kind of is, very Mad Maxy and very whatever else sort of thing like that. Then Elvis dies. And so now basically all these territories in Vegas and throughout the rest of the country are all converging on Vegas to basically see who's going to be the next king. And so Buddy's put his hat in the ring there, but also at the same time protecting a child who he finds they kind of like basically kind of left for dead sort of thing like that. So he's got a little companion with him as well. But very rockabilly kind of music in here. There was a band called the Red Elvises that the filmmaker really enjoyed. So they do a lot of the music for the soundtrack and also perform in the movie as a gang called the Red Elvises. Which basically are like Elvis if he was a communist. So they lean into like they all wear red suits. They got the stars and the hammer and sickle and all that kind of shit. So they really lead into the 70s 80s communist kind of vibe and stuff like that, while also having pompadours and shit like that. So just a lot of fun. Vinegar Syndrome, like this has been out of print for a very, very long time. There are uploads on YouTube, but the aspect ratio is shit. So you can watch the movie and kind of get an idea of it, but it's not going to be a pleasant viewing experience in comparison to seeing the real thing. So the best avenue for the best treatment of this movie, Vinegar Syndrome did a beautiful special edition a few years ago. I think it may be sold out with their store, but you can certainly find it online. It might be a little bit pricey because it's older and it's not necessarily in print anymore. But if you want to see something fun and original and just a flat out fun ass movie that only could have existed in the 90s, Six String Samurai.
Okay.
There you go.
That's one of those movies where it's like I wanted to see it, but I just never had an opportunity. It's a very difficult movie to find.
Yeah,
and that's the kicker. That's why I never found. I mean, I could torrent it, I'm sure, but it's I don't want to be that guy. I want to try and do the honest thing, to support my filmmakers. But some of these movies you just can't find anymore, and you just got to do what you got to do. Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, they're down for making good releases of flicks.
Yeah, so I 100% agree. All right, your next movie here.
Yes, my next flick.
There we go.
Black Devil Doll from Hell, Chester R. Turner. Yeah. A very early 80s direct-to-video film about a woman who buys an interesting ventriloquist dummy that happens to be possessed by happens to get possessed by a demon and runs around and tortures her for about 90 minutes. It's not a good movie. It's an interesting it's definitely, it's one of those movies where it's like, if you want to sit down and watch a movie at your house on a Saturday night, don't do this one. If you're with your buddies and you're like, hey, you gotta want to see something fucked up, here, put this on.
And perhaps there are things, there are adult beverages or adult or adult herbs to partake in while you're watching said film that will enhance your experience. Yes.
Yeah. This is definitely a hanging out with your buddies movie, and it was. It's had a little bit of a cult, a very obscure cult status for the longest time. Number one being one of the catchiest titles of all time. But it was it was a pioneer of the camcorder video genre, like the early horror 1980s shot on a camcorder kind of deal.
Yeah, like Pieces and what was the other one? There was
Pieces of Video Violence was another one.
There was another one that had like a single title. Oh, Spookies. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but no, yeah, there was a time where you could go into the video store and you could rent movies that people had shot on their camcorder. I mean, they'd be distributed and everything. They'd be on like legit tapes. It's not like you're getting like an old TDK, with like some Sharpie on it or anything. But yeah, people ate, some people ate this stuff up, and this is an infamous example of it. There was an unofficial homage that got released around 2012, I believe, called Black Devil Doll. That just tries to capitalize on the title and the premise a little bit, but it's a better produced movie. It is not nearly as good of a movie, and this is not a good movie. So yeah, but it's interesting. I highly suggest you watch it if you want to watch something really kind of fucked up.
Oh yeah, and of course, like this is in the there's tons of blaxploitation films, but primarily those were action movies, either starring male or female action stars, or whatever else, your Fred Williamsons, your Pam Griers, your Richard Roundtrees, stuff like that. But you also had black exploitation horror movies like Blackula, Scream, Black Devil Doll from Hell. Sugar Hill was one. What was the other one? There's another one where like somebody but somebody gets possessed by like a voodoo spirit or something like that. But there's that one. Also, Black Devil Doll from Hell. If you want to do a great double feature of questionable blaxploitation horror movies, pair this up with William Girdler's Abby. Which Abby, Abby is the blaxploitation exorcist. So, yeah. Good pick, man. Good pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, Andy Sheeny somewhere is smiling that you brought up Black Devil Doll from Hell. So,
fair. Oh, good old Andy. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We're in the stump category here. Now, this one I have seen because said person introduced this to me, but here's a good one for you. MKB brings up 1970s Airplane Glue, I Love You.
Okay. This one, she is always the one bringing out some shit. Like, okay, so let me sidebar for a second here. So I'm over at the Prime Fanatics house one time, and Mrs. Fanatic is also there, and we're going to go to enjoy a night of Elizabethtown wrestling, the OVW. So, but beforehand, we had gotten together earlier, and we had dinner and everything, and Michelle had asked me if I'd ever heard of this movie, the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. And I'm like, well, no, it's like I've heard of the documentary, right? And she's like, well, kind of forget that for the moment. Here's the coup de grace before this. It was, and she explained the whole PBS documentary deal and the
Dancing Outlaw.
Yeah, the Dancing Outlaw and everything. And so we watched this, and it is the most fascinating documentary I had ever seen about this hillbilly family in West Virginia and all their shenanigans. And you got to meet this fella named Jesco White, who has lived rent free in my head ever since. Especially the scene where he's sitting on the trailer talking to his ex-wife and talking about the whole slimy runny eggs deal. No. If you want to live to see tomorrow, you'll get in that kitchen and cook me some eggs or something to that effect.
Yeah, I don't want them slimy, sloppy eggs.
Yeah, sloppy eggs. Yeah, and he threatened to shoot her, if I remember correctly.
Yep, he's gonna shoot her. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so no, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for that, because she comes up with some shit that it's like that I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course, I mean, she has met Jesco himself back in the day. So at a meet and greet in West Virginia, he basically signed an autograph, I think, in crayon. I'm not quite sure, but it was after the Dancing Outlaw, and he got a little bit of fame with that documentary, and then he ended up being on an episode of Roseanne. And so then PBS did a second documentary of Jesco after Roseanne, and now he's a Hollywood star living in the hills of West Virginia and whatever else. So yeah. So slimy, sloppy eggs.
Yeah. You want to live to see tomorrow.
Gentlemen and ladies, your viewers here, this is why I married this woman. I'm just, and Press is in crayon. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure it was in crayon, but definitely Michelle's like the autograph looked like it was by a child. So, but
I can believe that. Yeah. Jessica's probably on 16 different kinds of drugs anyway. So
16, shit, that's being generous. So, Yeah, he's probably like 27. What are you talking about?
True.
He's on shit we don't even know about yet. So, but he's buddies with Johnny Knoxville and Hank the Third, and stuff like that. So he rubbed some elbows with some famous people, and of course, if you play Grand Theft Auto 5, Jesco, you hear his voice because he is the DJ for the country radio station, and also Jesco himself is in the game because you find this way out spot in the hills, the Hollywood Hills, and whatnot, and then there's this asshole dancing on a board.
Yep,
there he is, and he's just dancing. You don't do anything with him. There's no mission. I mean. I wouldn't recommend shooting Jesco, but I think you can. But
yeah, I think you can shoot just about everybody in a Grand Theft Auto game.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if he got an exception because whatever. But yeah, I mean he's just there doing his thing, so he don't mess with you or anything like that, or no interaction. But Jesco's in the game, so there you go. He's immortalized in a video game for the rest of his life.
He's one of them Easter eggs.
Oh, Chris has got one too easy. 1974 Zardoz with Sean Connery.
Zardoz.
Yes. Yes, sir. Too easy. Too easy. Yeah, weird 70s Sean Connery movies when he's trying to get away from James Bond. Yes, Zardoz is definitely out there where he's like running around with a ponytail and this big mustache and this like red sash thing. Like Sean Connery's like half naked throughout the entire movie.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's trippy. It doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. If you want a good Sean Connery post-Bond movie, Outland. Basically, Outland is Peter Hyams directing High Noon in Space.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. So it's a space station full of roughnecks. Sean Connery is the only law enforcement officer. And basically, when, there's some... It's not like there's no like aliens or monsters or anything like that. It's basically like people are like the town's there's like a gang of guys that are kind of causing trouble. There's problems with the contracts and people are getting, the workers are getting antsy, kind of shit like that. And so he's basically got to like do some law enforcement kind of stuff like that. But like I said, he's one against many. So, but it takes place on a space station. But yeah, it's a cool one.
Okay.
And of course, I would be remiss to not also mention I can't remember what year this came out, but The Sword of the Valiant that also had Miles O'Keefe, which is basically a recreation of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Miles O'Keefe. that Mystery Science Theater thing will always stick out in my head.
How much O'Keefe is in this movie? Miles O'Keefe.
Miles O'Keefe.
Sean Connery plays the Green Knight. That's a cool movie.
Nice.
So trippy in all the good ways there. Oh, Michelle, going back to the Jesco story, it took him forever to spell my name. Don't huff louder for the kids. Yes, Michelle, Michel. Mick, M-I-C. I can picture this. I can picture this now.
Hey, brother, can you give me a second? I gotta hop off stream for just a second. Can you
go right ahead. So, yeah. And this Brandon Fox. Yeah, go right ahead, brother. Brandon Fox says it's West Virginia, so at least he's doing meth. Yeah, he's doing more of the others. What's the line in the Wild and Wonderful Whites where one of the white family members shakes a pill bottle and it's like, yeah, this is the West Virginia mating call, just shaking a pill bottle. Cave Girl, 1985. Yep. Definitely remember that one. Of course, there's you got all these 80s caveman movies because of course you had Caveman that had Ringo Starr in it, which that was early 80s. I think it was maybe 81, 82, something like that. And then you had Clan of the Cave Bear with Daryl Hannah. You had The Emerald Forest, Quest for Fire. So for whatever reason, there was a fascination in the 80s with caves and primordial people. So. But yeah, Cave Girl was definitely in there. Of course, that was one of the more sexy, fun movies on that one. And so, Caveman, the Ringo Starr movies, a comedy as well. But definitely Quest for Fire, Clan of the Cave Bear, stuff like that. Those are all very much more serious movies. But yeah, definitely remember Cave Girl there. That's one of those movies that they play later in the evening where you don't want mom and dad to see that you're watching Cave Girl. Because there's boobies in it. It continued in the 90s with Encino Man. Yep. Oh, Don't wheeze the juice. Oh man, I love me some Encino, man. Old Pauly Shore, where are you? Oh, all right. So one movie I definitely want to talk about here in just a second here, but there's actually a couple of movies. They're interesting if you ever find them. If anybody's a Clive Barker fan, he did two short films while he was basically like still in art school that are worth looking up. Sometimes you can find them on like Hellraiser box sets where they have like a whole big Clive Barker like retrospective sort of thing like that, or sometimes you find them on YouTube. But one's called Salome, and then there's another one called The Invisible. And The Invisible is extremely visually impressive because there's a lot of like weird visual tricks. Like it's an art school movie, so give it some patience, both of them. But yeah, they like it. Basically, there's one point like they're shooting photo negative. So everything white is black and black is white, sort of thing like that. So it's a trippy movie. Yes, that's definitely worth checking out too if you're a Clive Barker fan. So it's just some weird stuff. Well before he decided he was going to do the Hellraiser movies and Nightbreed and all that kind of stuff like that. So I was talking about the Clive Barker short movies that he did when he was still in art school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's some weird ass shit, man. So but you can see where he's going. So
right.
All right. My second film here, and I'm basically giving you both the good ones first, and then the train wreck one comes last because it's worth it. This is from 2001. This basically was at a good. I saw this a few years later, so I didn't see this when it initially came out. But again, the aforementioned Andy Shaney introduced me to this, and when he, for a few years, had a film festival called the Last Call Film Festival that was hosted over at the Rudyard Kipling in Louisville, Kentucky, was basically a film festival that was in a bar restaurant that basically focused on the weird, the unearthing gems, the lesser seen stuff like that. So I bring you The American Astronaut. So this is directed. This is directed by Corey Maccabee. Corey was the leader of a group called the Billy Nair Show, Billynayr. So like, billionaire, but Billy Nair. Definitely an eccentric alternative band. Very much kind of like a little bit kind of minimalist rock as well. But good writing, weird song lyrics and stuff like that, but just still good stuff. Just very interesting music. So Billy had always been, when they would do like music videos, Corey would always direct the videos, had a specific art style to things, whatever else. It has a specific sort of thing like that. So when he finally decides he's going to direct his feature film, we get The American Astronaut, which can easily be described as a neo-noir space western musical.
Okay, that's an interesting. Yeah.
So the whole premise is that basically space has essentially been colonized and explored by roughnecks. So all the people who are out in space exploring and trading and finding things for people and whatever else, they're all just regular roughneck people. There's no astronauts. There's no scientists, stuff like that. It's just regular down and dirty folks. So you got the main character here who basically, he is an astronaut. He's kind of a finder of things and whatever else. So he's meeting at the bar with a character named the Blueberry Pirate, who's basically kind of the smuggler of all things. And so he basically, the astronaut here is bringing the Blueberry Pirate a real live girl. Because the other thing in space is that it's all dudes. There's not a lot of women in space right now. So they're kind of desperate. Like you get to this one planet that basically is like kind of a mining planet, and the celebrity they have on the planet is the boy who once saw a woman's breast. He's a celebrity because he saw a boob once.
Okay.
And so they whip him out in this Ozymandias looking outfit, and he talks about what it looked like for about 5 seconds, and then that's it. But there's also a lot of the music of the Billy Nair Show as well, a lot of dance numbers. It's a very, very, very eccentric movie, but that's in a good way. One of the outstanding performances in the movie is by Rocco Sisto, who plays the villainous Dr. Hess in the movie. He's a bit of our guide, but he's also a unreliable narrator at the same time because you find out he's the villain in the movie.
Right.
But it's really, really cool. I highly recommend if you want to see something original. Basically, very low budget, but very innovative with what they do with the special effects. Especially when he lands for the first time on this planet, you see him basically doing a moonwalk. Not like Michael Jackson moonwalk, but like, walking on the moon sort of thing like that, a zero gravity sort of thing like that. And this movie has the budget of about $10. So yeah, it's like I said, definitely worth checking out. There's one other thing I was going to bring up there. No, I lost it. Anyway, but at the time of the Last Call Film Festival, when Andy initially showed this, he also booked the band itself to play after the movie. So got to meet the band, got to know them. So yeah, it was just a very special time. When I got to see this movie and experience it, and then meet the filmmaker himself. So yeah, but
nice.
Definitely worth looking at there. So
nice.
And Chris Franks brings up Cherry 2000. Yeah, with not Molly Ringwald. Chick that was married to Antonio Banderas. No, not Meg Ryan. Anyway, yeah, I know Cherry 2000.
I've heard of Cherry 2000. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of
it. Definitely another Mad Max ripoff. But yes, an enjoyable movie. Definitely. I love me some old like 70s and 80s genre movies that, especially like foreign movies that like ripped off like more popular movies. Yeah, that's my jam. Love that shit. All right, what do you got next?
My final film for the evening is a little I believe this one was a 2012 film called I Declare War. And it is about some kids in a neighborhood playing capture the flag. And there's two teams. And you got one kid who's never lost a game of capture the flag, and then you got another kid who is about to kick this kid's ass and capture the flag. Now, what makes it different from other movies is that it takes a different twist to it other than just kids playing in a neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so you kind of get into their imagination a little bit, where it's like sticks become guns and like water balloons become hand grenades and things like that. So it's like you're watching like these kids running around, and then all of a sudden, like, they're in like, they're firing machine guns and shit, and like, like having, these little mini wars. And it's very like, there's a little bit of Lord of the Flies going on with this movie. There's a little bit, I mean, obviously like the cover's an homage to Platoon, but yeah, it's a very interesting war film that does it. It's not, I mean, it's like, you don't see like kids like getting squibbed up and shit like that. Like, not that kind of like, not that kind of thing. It's still very much kids playing, but it's almost unsettling at times.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, you actually stumped me on this one because I am not familiar with this, but I love the premise of it and playing with the reality of like basically giving effects to the kids, where it's like, we're seeing what they see in their imagination. Yeah.
Well, you can actually check this out starting on July 8th on Tubi. So nice. This will be there. It was an Alamo Drafthouse distributed movie. Okay. If I remember correctly, when it originally came out, but it was one of those movies you could get in the vending machine that they had there. Nice. And they showed it. But yeah, it was it's a really good, I enjoyed it for like, it's one of those movies where it's like you watch it and they dare to do something different and it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That is my movie. So I stumped you. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, there you go. And I love me some documentaries too. So yeah, you got.
Well, it's not a documentary per se. I mean, it's like a straight like narrative movie. But
okay.
Yeah, but it's like, but it's still the whole idea of like, check a trailer out. Like there is a trailer, and you'll get the idea. Like it's not going to spoil anything for you, but it's a fun movie.
I got it. Oh, and Chris, thankfully, yes, thank you. Melanie Griffith. Yeah, that's who I was trying to think of. Melanie Griffith's the star of Cherry 2000.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, and Brandon saying yes, God bless Tubi and Pluto.
Damn right.
So, amen to that. And speaking of, my American Astronaut movie is available on YouTube. That's the thing I was going to tell you guys, and I almost forgot. So yeah, American Astronaut is available on YouTube. If you look up, there's a version that says VHS transfer, best possible quality. That's not a VHS transfer. That is the best possible quality. It's supposed to look dark and fuzzy and poor grainy quality. So yes, the version that is marked best possible quality VHS transfer. That's the movie. That's the cinematic version. Go watch that. Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah.
Another movie. This is also available on YouTube. This one, I've been saving the best for last on this one here.
Okay.
This started out as a student film that actually played in a very limited run in theaters and has become an infamous of the early days of DIY horror movies. This also falls into the VHS DIY horror movies. 1979's Weasels Rip My Flesh.
You got me on this one.
Directed by Nathan Schiff. I don't believe Nathan directed much anything else after this. He may have got a job doing other things. Someone probably told him, filmmaking may not be for you.
Right.
So this is named. This takes the name from the aforementioned Frank Zappa record, "Weasels Rip My Flesh," though it has nothing to do with this. Basically, the plot of this movie is that some astronauts come back from a trip through space, and they accidentally crash land into a river. And in said river, or near said river, they spill toxic waste and stuff like that, and it affects a already rabid weasel that's in the area. And so weasel gets infested with toxic waste and starts to mutate and become larger and go on rampage of killing people. Yeah. It's basically up to two police officers who are trying to investigate things that are going on, the murders, and then also there is a crazy scientist who's trying to capture the weasel to take its blood to make other crazy monsters like giant weasel.
Right.
So that's your plot. This is a VHS film movie. The effects are very poor. Everybody in this movie has a mustache, even the women.
Oh wow!
This was filmed in like 70s Jersey, so it's kind of like Sleepaway Camp. The accents are really thick. You can be like, unless you like know that accent, there's sometimes it's hard to tell because also the sound's not that great either. So it's kind of sometimes hard to tell what they're saying to each other because the accent is so thick and the sound's kind of bad. Let me show you the effects.
Oh wow!
That's one point where we were. If you notice here, you get the gentleman here with the big sideburns and the sunglasses and the mustache. It looks like he jumped out of a Scorsese movie. That's one of the cops.
Jeez.
Yeah, and they both look like that. But I mean, it's like I'm telling you, like everybody in this movie has a fucking mustache. Wow. Just saying. That is the weasel's final form.
Oh, geez, that thing's horrible.
Yeah. And I can't remember why it's wearing clothing, unless that's someone else that got mutated or whatnot. But
right.
Yeah. This is this is a movie to not watch sober. That if you want to let's do an endurance test with my friends to see how long they can withstand a really bad movie. It's under 90 minutes, thankfully. So it's short. It is mercifully short. But yes, it is everything you could look at of bad filmmaking. It's a 101. Just watch this entire movie, and if you don't do anything like this guy did in the movie, you will be a successful filmmaker. it's that kind of bad.
Okay.
Oh, Chris says kind of like Night of the Lepus. Worse than Night of the Lepus. Night of the Lepus had a budget. It had DeForest Kelley as a star in the movie. They had the best thing about Night of the Lepus is the trailer. Night of the Lepus trailer is fucking awesome, but then you watch a movie with killer bunnies, and they're not like giant bunnies; they're like normal sized bunnies,
right?
But they're supposed to be killing people and stuff like that. Yeah, trust me, Night of the Lepus is a fucking classic in comparison to Weasel's Rip My Flesh. So, but yeah, I like where your head's at though.
Okay.
Yeah, I like where your head's at. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there have been many monsters getting mutated by toxic waste movies over the years. Of course, some of the best ones, like South Korea's The Host, which is basically the river monster. So that's a really good one. So there's of course, all your Godzilla and your kaiju movies and stuff like that are great. But yeah, Weasels Rip My Flesh is not one of those movies. So there you go.
Fair.
Yeah, that was the first time I viewed that experience. So this going back again to the Last Call Film Festival, Andy would gather a bunch of us together, and we would get drunk and watch a bunch of the selections and pick which movies we thought were worthy of being shown at the festival and which movies wouldn't be. And if a movie got too bad for us that we couldn't stand anymore, the safe word was Oklahoma. We had to say Oklahoma to be tapping out, please stop the fucking movie. It's god awful.
Okay.
It had to be not quite a majority vote, but it had to be more than one person saying it. So it couldn't just be the bad taste. Like if two people said it, like, okay, we'll consider this. And if three people are saying it, there's like five of us. Okay. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Right.
We made it all the way through Weasels Rip My Flesh, but we would watch this one early, and it's awful. But then again, the one movie we did tap out on was a fellow from New Albany, Indiana, made a movie called Super Hell. Super Hell. That was a demonic kind of movie. I'm not entirely sure what the plot was, and I saw at least 3/4 of it. When I had to finally say I got to tap out on this one here was when I watched a girl I went to high school with. Supposedly she was like locked up and supposed to be like a sacrifice, and then suddenly she has to give birth to something, and she gives birth to a lizard, and not like a large impressive thing called a monstrous lizard, like a regular ass like fucking gecko, like someone's pet gecko.
Right.
Now, like, yeah, I'm done. Also, they made an original song for the movie called Welcome to Super Hell that plays through the entire movie like it's a fucking New Jack ECW match.
Jeez.
Like, it loops.
Right. Oh, damn.
So that's the movie we had to tap out on, but we made it all the way through Weasels Rip My Flesh. But when Super Hell was the 2 of the 1-2 combination, I'm like, gotta go. Nope. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Man, that's the great thing about The Last Call is that there was a lot of really cool, very innovative films we saw and a lot of DIY stuff, and then there was a whole lot of shit.
Right.
Yeah. But there you go, folks. The most obscure movies that we could come up with to entertain you. There you go. So definitely, if you guys are watching this or listening to this later on, drop your things in the comments. Try to stump us with your picks of movies here because, yeah, like I said, I love my old obscure genre movies and stuff like that. Reddit says, my life has the most entertaining stories. Well, thank you. It's all in the way you tell it. It's all in the presentation. So, yeah. All right. So I got a feeling those babies are ready to go outside. Aren't
oh
they?
My God, they are. Yeah, they are starting to tear shit up, and it's driving. I love them to death, but you only get about maybe an hour's worth of peace between any time that you're trying to do anything. So yeah, in my house, if you wanted to sit down and watch a whole 2-hour movie, you ain't doing it. Yeah, it's like,
not in one sitting. No. Yeah. No. But if I was there though, Mr. Cooper Meatball would get on the couch with me and snuggle with me. There you go. So
yeah, and he's upset because he's been in the cage for an hour and a half now, and he's been so.
Holy Grail does have the best killer bunny. Yep.
Yeah.
The Cave of Carabanog. All right. Well, guys, thank you all so much for joining us out here. Brandon, Spitfire, Chris, Dan, Steve, love you guys. Thank you all very much for coming out and hanging out with us here and commenting. We appreciate you. But yeah, like I say, if you guys are watching or listening to this later on here, definitely try to stump us with your movie picks, your favorite obscure movies. I guarantee you we've probably seen most of them and we enjoy them too. So there you go.
Yep.
Anyway, you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Go see He-Man. Go watch those movies. Go have a fun summer. And we will see you next time on the Fanatic Forum. And of course, as always, we will leave you with a message from our friends at Comic Books for Kids. TTFN.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Troops, and overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.